So, as we've heard briefly already, NHS staff are taking the rare decision to strike. So let's get out our strike advent calendar. Remember, every day between now and Christmas, strike action is being taken somewhere. Today, it's teachers in Scotland, brewers at Greene King and coffin makers from the Co-op again. And this afternoon, new strikes have been announced for the 23rd of December. Here, Border Force guards in passport booths at 6 major airports in Britain are going to walk out. That will happen on 8 separate days between then and New Year's Eve. And as you can see, there are lots of other workers walking out on the 23rd too. Well, our political editor, Andy Bell, is with us now from Westminster. Good to see you tonight, Andy. The government is looking to make things tougher, we understand, for people who want to go out on strike.
Yes, we've known for some time that legislation has been making its way very slowly through this place to provide for a minimum service during strikes on the railways. Well, today the government said that it wants to expand that into other areas. This is what the Prime Minister had to say.
The union leaders to continue to be unreasonable, then it is my duty to take action to protect the lives and livelihoods of the British public. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, since I became Prime Minister, I have been working for new, tough laws to protect people from this disruption.
New tough laws. Do we have any more details about what they might be?
Well, this is interesting because just yesterday Downing Street told us that they had no plans to expand that legislation beyond transport, and today they say they do have plans to do that. So what's happened in the last 24 hours to make them change their minds? Well, one thing that has happened is that ambulance workers in England and Wales have voted to go on strike. You heard the Prime Minister in Parliament there talking about the need to save lives. Does that mean that the health service, the NHS, is one area where they're looking at expanding this sort of legislation? Now, I've been talking to a representative from the GMB union, which has thousands of members in the NHS, and he wanted to make the point to me that even if there are strikes, they go out of their way to ensure that lives will not be put at risk.
And the reality is those matters of life and death have always covered. You know, our members take pride in saving people's lives. It's why they do the job that they do, often under very difficult conditions and under, frankly, scandalous levels of pay. And the idea that this needs to be dealt with by further legislation and not simply a government recognising as a fundamental problem and dealing with it, I think is insulting.
So there's plenty we still don't know about this. We don't know the details, we don't know any timing, we don't know when anything may become law. We don't even know if the government is really serious about expanding this legislation or if they are simply trying to sound tough. What we do know is that by announcing this kind of intention, they have raised the temperature in this series of industrial disputes.